Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Chai Together. I am your host and founder, Prativa Day. You are tuning in for a cup of courage, hope, and imagination today, and one journey at a time. So on this platform, we use courage to showcase our stories. We use hope to overcome, and we use imagination to understand and resonate with the stories that are being shared. So that being said, I'd like to welcome Miss Sophie V. Sophie, how do you pronounce your last name?
Oh God, just say James.
No, pronounce it.
It's two last names together. So it's Budunu James. And
Budunu.
I usually go by James, So
I like
it's
it.
too long for some people are like, what is it? I'm like, just say James. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. I want you to start saying your last name as what it is. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Respect. It's like, no, my name is Budunu. Like, have people say it correctly,
Yeah, true.
Yourself.
True.
I don't let people butcher my name. My name is Prativa. Like, that's my name.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind it. It's like, it's Virginia James. For short, just call me James. I'm okay with that, Yeah. I like the James too. That's my husband's last name. And I was like, I will marry you just because I love your last name. It's like...
Wow. You're too funny. I like your hair. You look nice.
Oh, thank you. I had to do it this morning.
So how you feel? Amped?
Great. I had my cup of coffee in my favorite new mug. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. So much light.
A little bit. I know, so much.
I love it. I love this mug.
It's the same as mine. And Sophie has two.
Yay!
Look at
Cheers!
that glisten. Look at that shine.
I love it.
Yeah, me too. That's the only mug I have, actually. So
I have plenty of them. I'm obsessed with mugs.
Yeah. So I'm going to share with the viewers about you. So Sophie James is a mom, a wife, and a multi-passionate entrepreneur. She started her coaching business called MyBlissfulLifeJourney 1 year ago to help millennial women overcome their insecurities, boost their confidence, and connect with their significant other. While doing this, she realized that so many women had ideas and wanted them to turn them into a side hustle, but didn't know how to get started. That's where she started her podcast called the Sophie Empowers Podcast, which I've been on when we met last summer, and where she invites amazing entrepreneurs to share their story that they can motivate and help you take the first step to your success. And her business was inspired by her own healing journey, going from identity loss, postpartum depression, major weight gain, and insecurities to loving and being the best version of herself now. Yeah. Wow, Sophie, you're a doll.
Yay! You said it so well.
Yeah, you're a doll. So I want to start by, your cultural background. So what's your ethnicity?
So I'm from Benin, West Africa. I was born in Ivory Coast. We traveled a lot, and I actually grew up in Benin for 12 years or so. So I pretty much spent majority of my childhood in Benin in West Africa. And then I moved to America when I was 16, which was about 12 years ago, 13. Who knows? Who's counting, right? And French is my first language.
Wow. Can you say something for us?
Bonjour tout le monde, mon nom c'est Sophie et j'espère que vous regardez cette vidéo.
Wow. I believe you should start a French version of your videos. It is amazing.
Yeah, I've thought about it. Some people did suggest that, but trust me, I have limited amount of time. If I have to do, that means I have to create the same thing twice.
Yeah.
And it's already take me twice as long to create one kind of content. So it's like, oh my God, one day.
Honestly, that one day is now, because it's aligned, because the hosts that I sit here, they speak French, and I highly recommend you do that. It sounds amazing. If I were to choose English or French, I would choose French, personally.
I know. I love French. I try to teach my children French, But
Yeah.
it's so hard to treat children like another set of language if
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only one who speaks French. You know, my husband speaks English, and
Yeah.
it's like we're trying to incorporate the French here and there. My daughter, she's 5, and she will understand some of it, but then it's like we are not keeping up
Mhm.
with it. So English is what we speak
Yeah.
around the house often.
So, yeah, I would just speak to them in French. And when you start doing your French podcasts or French videos, more French content, they're going to pick up on it. They're going to see that you're doing it. So they're going to want to do it, you know?
So true. I'll definitely add that to
I
my
recommend French,
to-do list. Ding,
English.
ding, ding.
You got to use all you have. The time is now. I just found out today that
Yeah,
my friend's friend has passed away, and you really don't know how long you have. So the time is now. That one day, like, you're never going to do it, you know?
so
Um,
true. I will
so
definitely
that's fun.
incorporate that into what I'm doing already.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, your journey regarding the cultural norms that you have. So what are the challenges that you've had, transitioning over to this country being 16? Were you bullied? Like, what are some of the things
Well,
you went through?
whew. Well, I was 16, as we all know, 16 is like the age, high school years, junior
Mhm.
years when all the girls are like super glamorous
Yeah.
and they have the cars and everything. So, and we live in the neighborhood, Dearborn, Michigan, which was kind of like a
Oh,
suburb,
yeah.
I would say. And
I've
I
been
lived
there.
with my uncle. Yeah, I love Dearborn. I live with my uncle over there. First of all, the language barrier was was number one. Even with my cousin, they were really helpful. So I moved here around like the August, like summertime. So school started in September. I think a month after I moved here, I started school. So
Mm.
my cousin were trying to like teach me English for the 1 month interval. They don't speak French either. So it was kind of like really hard to understand each other.
Mm.
But for some reason, we were able to figure it out. Then I started school. I would say 50% of it was a great experience, and the other 50%, you always have this a-hole in the school who make a big deal about everything. um,
Mm.
yes, I've been bullied verbally. Thank goodness, not physically. Obviously, people saying things to you, because you don't really understand certain things. They will probably like push you to the side. But one thing that I know from a young age, I don't really take things super personal. I already knew at that age, yeah, that's my struggle. You know what? It is what it is. I'm not going to really chase after people or who don't understand me. So I was really shy as well because of that. I did label myself shy. So I wasn't really going to talk to people. I don't really talk to people. I will usually stay in my corner. In lunchroom, I would just eat by myself. Again, I was fine with it. It wasn't like, oh my God, I wish I can eat with somebody. I
Mhm.
was fine with eating by myself. Then we had some people who will come to me, oh my gosh, are you new here? And most of them already knew my cousin. And you're like, you're so and so cousin. I'm like, yeah. They will just invite me over, which was really nice and welcoming. Because my cousin was like what we call a social butterfly. And, and people were like, isn't that your cousin over there? And she was like, yes. But then,
Mm.
but we were kind of, it was good. I was in a different, I was, what was it, junior year, and she was a freshman. So our lunch was a little different at first. That's where we were able to sit together. But again, overall, I only kept the memory that had the good experience memory. Everything
Mm.
else, just, you know what, it doesn't matter. It's the past. People do things to you. It's not because of you, it's because of them. So I definitely didn't take much of it personally, really.
I really like that. So dig into, you know, you starting your podcast, My Blissful Journey, right? A year ago during the pandemic. So what was that pivot point, that shift that led you to start it now?
Well, I actually started my Blissful Life Journey on Instagram probably 2 years ago, a year before the pandemic. I wasn't fully coaching. All I was just doing is creating content, about more, it was more about relationship and not just confidence. I was sharing my story of being a mom. I just had my son at that time. So I was sharing, relationship struggles. I was sharing new mom struggles and things like that. Then as I was, I guess, growing, I would say, I realized that confidence was another thing because I also was dealing with lack of confidence when it comes to going live, or because I just had a kid. Well, my second child, which was this boy just turned my body upside down, like I will say. So it was a lot of confidence issues there. So I kind of also started talking about confidence. And during the pandemic, I got laid off from my job again. We moved from a new state, and I was like, "Oh my God, we just moved, and everything shut down in a matter of a month." So you get all these feelings rushing into you. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna pay my bills? How am I gonna do this? Then next thing I was like, I have this thing happening here. Why don't I leverage this? Why don't I make something with my time? Then I started talking about, yeah, we were doing coaching. And even before that time, I was helping, let's say, women before to overcome certain obstacles they had either in their marriage or in their own personal life. So I was like, I have some kind of experience. I've helped people in the past. Why don't I just help more people if anyone needed? Right now, during the pandemic, it was really a need for it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why not? So I started putting myself out there more, telling that I do coach. I did offer a whole lot of free coaching also, because I don't mind doing it free. I feel like, hey, you need the help, I will help you. Now, if you want the extended version of what I'm doing, okay, my time is also valuable. If you want to use the specific time that I use it for other things, then you may have to put some money into it. But majority of the time, I gave a lot of free advice, and so many people are so grateful about it. And that's pretty much my joy. That's my happy place, knowing that I'm able to help someone go from point A to point B. It's just a really great feeling.
Yeah. Now it's time to charge.
Yes, time. Well,
Yeah. So,
definitely.
you mentioned, in your bio, you had that identity loss. Was that during the postpartum depression?
It was after having kids.
Yeah.
I had my daughter when I was 20, I would say 23,
Wow.
5, 6. I was married at 21, give her 22. Then we got my daughter at 23.
So
Yes, I was
young.
23 when I had my first daughter. Very young. I got married young as well. So it's like, hey, 21 is 21-year-old doing married. But it happened. It was good. We loved each other, I'll say. And we had our daughter 2 years after we got married. But going from a certain lifestyle to another lifestyle, I had to like switch. And I'm the kind of person who just full on did like a 180, right? Which is like, I am not me anymore. I'm a mom. So I end up giving so much to being a mom, which is very, understandable as a new mom. Then boom, 2 years later, I had my son. So I had to put that mom phase out even more. And I was like I guess the only one from our friend group to have kids. So every time our friends are going out, I'm here, yeah, I gotta be a mom. Sorry. And
Yeah.
even there are times when I had my in-laws next, nearby. I also had my mom, but I felt a certain amount of guilt to leave my kids at home and go out party. So along this way, I felt lost. I'm like, I still love to have fun. I still like to do certain things. If I knew that some kind of balance I needed to have some kind of balance, it would have been a little easier. But I totally blocked out myself to the other fun part. And all I was thinking about is that you gotta clean, you gotta cook, you gotta take care of your kid, you gotta make sure you're doing the wife thing.
Yeah.
But then that's how I lost myself. I didn't know who I was. Then when there was a time when I started asking this question, who are you? Who is Sophie? All I can say was, I'm a mom. Okay, what else?
Yeah.
I'm a wife. You know? So he was like, that's when it hit me. And with my son, I did have postpartum depression. Well, I had it with my daughter, but again, I didn't recognize the signs. I didn't know what it was. So I was like, well, you gotta push through. It just, you don't want to show a sign of weakness. Crying is not acceptable. Why are you crying? Kind of thing, right? And
Is that what
for
you learned
me,
from your family?
say that again.
Is that what you learned from your family?
Pretty much. My family back in Africa don't show weakness at all. So it's like, yeah, you can't be laying there doing nothing. You got to get up and do something. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but there are times when you're feeling down, stay down, recover, and get back up. I didn't know that. Or I was really pushing myself through, forcing myself to do certain things, and not knowing that it was making the situation worse. Then with my son, it got even worse, where my husband was like, I don't know, I can help. I don't know how to help you. I didn't even know how to help myself. So how is my husband going to help me if I didn't even know what's going on in my head, in my mind, why I'm feeling so sad all the time, even though I have no reason to be sad. So that's what I had in my mind. But you have no reason to be sad.
Hello.
Hi, Sam. Hi. Say good morning. So she was playing dress up with makeup and stuff. Hi, Mommy. Is the movie finished?
They do look like you.
Do that? Yeah. Okay, guys. Candy. There's no candy here. There's no candy here. Hey, I said there's no candy here.
And like how to remain.
Yes, I didn't know how to help myself. Yes, there we go.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, you stated that you focus on relationships and marriage. Why was that? Why do you feel, you focus on the marriage aspect? Is it inspired by your marriage?
It was inspired by everything, because my lack of confidence and my unstable mental health at the time was starting to take a toll on my marriage in a way that I didn't even know what was happening to myself. My husband, as wonderful as he was trying to help. And he's like, he didn't know how to help me. He wanted to. And he's like, what do you want me to do? What can I do? And just by me being super sheltered, not communicating enough, not letting him know how I feel or what was going on at the time, it's like it was starting to create distance between us. Then I was like, okay, I had this one moment of realization that something had to change. Actually, that one moment was when my husband, he took his phone, he drew a picture of me with the kids on the side, and he had all this writing on the side. I love you. I want to help you. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help you. And he is definitely not the emotional kind of person, kind of guy. And he don't even know how to talk about his feeling most of the time. But that was kind of an eye-opening moment for me, knowing that he does care. But at the time I couldn't see it. When I was so in my head and I could not see or understand anything. So he shared this picture with me. Oh my God, I feel like that day I cried for the whole entire day. And by the next day, I felt so relieved. I had such a big weight that was just lifted off my shoulder. And that's when I started asking myself certain questions. What are you? What do you need? What do you want? What's going on? Why are you like this? And I wrote down all of these questions. That's how it's journaling. That's why I love journaling. And that's how I started my journaling, I'll say, journey also.
Yeah.
Where the first page was a whole bunch of questions that was in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, the more I started writing, the next few days, I started having answer to every single questions. So by helping other women in their relationship, it was definitely based on my own experience. By also helping women in with the confidence or the lack of self-esteem, it was because of my own experience. And if I didn't make the change to do something better with myself, it would have definitely created a bad relation. My relationship would just go down. And I don't believe in divorce. And I feel like everything is great unless there are some crazy things happening. You can always fix what's going on. And I choose to fix it. And before I've even fixed other things, I realized I was the problem. I was the barrier between my husband and our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I was the one who had to grow up. I was the one who had to do some mental, deal with my mental health. I was the one who had to step up my game and be a wife to my husband. It's definitely not fair to him to just everything that I was doing. I was like, it's not fair. So by helping myself, I was definitely able to help our marriage. I mean, we're still having up and
Yeah.
down, obviously, but we're able to figure it out every single day as we go.
Yeah. Fascinating because I know it's the culture you've grown into where they, prepare you to be a wife, but do you feel like, being married at a young age, do you feel like you even got to know yourself, explore and experiment with life, but it's like, do you put yourself first or do you put your husband first? You understand?
So, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Being married at the age of, what was it, 21,
Yeah.
you don't really know much about yourself, you
No.
know? And everything that I was doing at that age, I was really catering to my husband, life goals. Whatever his life goals, I will follow you, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you choose to do, I will follow you. And again, remember, he was also 22 years old. But at
Mm-hmm.
that age, what does a 22-year-old know about himself?
Mm-hmm.
I also.
Yeah.
So we were both in that limbo situation where what are we doing with our life? You're going down, I go down with you as well, because that was I follow you. But if you got to lead somewhere, if nobody is leading and we are all stagnant,
Mm-hmm.
nothing will happen. My husband is definitely a hardworking man. I believe I still have that mentality. I follow you. I will lead you a step. But you
Mm-hmm.
have to prove to me that it's worth leading.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, at the very young age, we were still both figuring out who we were as individual, but also we have to figure out who we are as a couple at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that for me personally, it was a great experience. It still
Mm-hmm.
is a great, as we are learning. We just have to be patient with each other and know that we are really opposite. We're different.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot impose my view on you, and you cannot impose your view on me. Let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about it and see where we both stand when it comes to this specific subject. And that was one of our worst communication at the time, where none of us wanted to see the other person's point of view. And we were so, me personally, I was really stuck on my view of things. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I grew up this way, and I believe that's what it should be.
Yeah.
And for him to me, is that I grew up this way and I believe this is how it should be. So where do we find the middle ground? Then we
Mm-hmm.
started doing our own research, and I was like, well, this psychologist person is telling me that this what should happen. And he will come up with his own fact as well. But
Mm-hmm.
next thing we know, we end up, the more research we do on that specific subject, we realize that we are pretty on the same page, but we
Mm-hmm.
were communicating on the wrong way.
Yeah.
So
Wow. I can only imagine I'm not
Yeah,
married and I don't have kids, but I can only imagine the work that it takes to sustain a relationship, especially a marriage.
definitely.
So I wanted
It's
to
not
ask
easy,
you, yeah, I wanted to ask
but it's
you,
worth it.
have you ever been to therapy or couples counseling and those things? Have you ever
Well,
been to therapy?
we couple counseling, I will say, not per se, but when I've had coaching done on myself to
Mhm.
deal with my own issues. So I took some courses to really learn more about how to help myself.
Mhm.
And with couple counseling, we do believe that family members, elderly,
Mhm.
are very important. We do listen to our parents. We do listen to, elder around us.
Yeah.
And we take in what we need to take in. And then whatever doesn't apply to us, we make sure we let it go, you know. Um,
But have
he's
you
my
been to
husband's mom.
therapy?
I'm
But
sorry.
but have you been to therapy, like psychotherapy, like seen a
I
therapist?
I haven't seen an actual therapist.
Mhm.
No, I have not. I've only got coaching done. And I mean, I will say it's important to go to therapy. For me personally, I haven't. We are thinking about doing couple counseling, which is great. Again, it's not like we're
Mhm.
having a problem with couple, that's why we
Mhm.
need couple counseling. But it's very important for us to also gain counseling from an actual therapist. If
Yes.
we never know. We may have some kind of loophole somewhere that we never realize, and now we're like, oh wow, this is okay.
Mhm.
Now we know how to
Yeah.
deal with this.
Yeah, and therapy is for everyone. It's not where something you may not even know what you needed to know,
Hmm.
will come up. Everyone, I personally believe, can benefit from therapy and learning more about themselves because you don't know what you don't know. And
Right.
you just don't address the things. So
Hmm.
what's
I
your
agree.
goals? Like what are your goals now with your podcast and your coaching? What is your goal?
I mean, it's always inspire. I always want to inspire as much people as possible. Inviting other people, hearing their stories is so amazing. Knowing that that person was able to do it, then you can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, definitely having a lot more listener on my podcast is my goal. And doing as much coaching as possible is also my goal. I still don't coach as much, but I have a course and a program coming very soon.
Yay.
And there is this one app and it's more into like, what is it called? PQ, positive intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
which is a way to grow your mental muscles so you can overcome any obstacles in any situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 6-week program and you can always continue as long as you want.
Mm-hmm.
If you're familiar with this person called Shazad Shermeen, he
No.
wrote the book called Positive Intelligence.
Hmm.
And that book is amazing. It tells you more about your saboteurs, which is the
Mhm.
voices in your head. And we call that the judge. So
Mhm.
everything, all the negative self-talk comes from your judge, or your limiting belief come from your judge. And under
Mhm.
the judge, we have what we call saboteurs, which is different um, judges to be exact.
Mhm.
And me, I know I am the avoider kind of person. This is one of my saboteurs. I am the highly vigilant, and I'm also restless. So if you got to put
Mm.
a name to all the voices in your head, these are my top three.
Mm.
And I just figured you find that out by taking just a 2-minute assessment test, and they will give you the results at the end of it. Well, once I got my result, I'm like, oh my God, this is me, like, don't do that. But I was definitely able to understand how I
Mhm.
act to certain things and why I act to certain things, and able to what we call the sage power. I use my sage
Mhm.
power to overcome any obstacles. In a nutshell, the sage is being able to turn every negative obstacle into a gift and an opportunity.
Mm.
So knowing that whatever you're going through at the moment, it will get better. There is a lesson to learn from this situation. Even though you can't see it right now, there is a lesson to take from it. So just don't let it bring you down.
Mm-hmm.
Go on about your life, change what you can, and then understand that there's always the light at the end of the tunnel. So that's pretty much what being in a sage mode is. And I've been practicing it for, I would say, a long time, even not knowing it. I always try to see whatever obstacles we are going through, there's a lesson to learn. And once I'm able to put a name to everything that's happening right now, I was like, it makes sense now.
Mm.
So, yeah. So this is like a 6-week program. It's an app. You just do everything in the app. The app is guided by Shazad himself,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and it's a whole bunch of community of people helping each other. Me being there to just support you while you're going through that program, which is awesome.
Wow. What else would you like to share today?
Oh my God. I will say, definitely take care of yourself. Your mental health is very important. If you have to see a therapist, there is nothing wrong with that. It's not a weakness to seek help. It's not. It's actually a strength. Majority of us think that it's a weakness. Well, I'm weak. That's why I have to get help from somebody else. No, it's actually a strength that we are not using. So do what you have to do with it, whether it is going to a therapist, figuring out what's going on, hiring a coach to help you move forward past all the obstacles. The therapist would definitely help you figure out what was going on, why you're having these issues. And the coach, I would say, will help you move forward, giving you all these daily tasks, helping you keep up with your goals, and so you can finally achieve it. I can hear my kid is like, stop screaming. No matter what, seek help that you need and go for it. Take it one day at a time.
Mm.
Don't try to jump all the hurdle at once. Learn the lesson from that one hurdle, so that the next time you encounter that same situation, you will know how to deal with it upfront. And don't be afraid to take step. Don't be afraid to go for what you want. Make sure you're able to set boundaries and not let people walk all over you. I'm a nice person, and really, I will say, like, when you're nice, people take advantage of that. So
Mm.
setting boundaries really was able help me put that line between what respect is and disrespect with my friends, my family. Um, and go for it. Whatever it is, go for it.
Wow. Thanks for
Like
sharing
Prativa said
that.
earlier, today is the day to start.
Yeah. Right. It really is. So, where can people find your podcast and your coaching and all you do?
So my podcast will be on Spotify and all of your favorite listening platform at Sophie Empowers Podcast. And on Instagram, you can find me at MyBlissfulLifeJourney.
Mm.
Same thing with my website. That's for my confidence and relationship coaching. And I also have Instagram for Coach Sophie James. So whichever one you you want, if it's Coach Sophie James, if that's easy, you reach out to me on that, send me a DM, and I will direct you to where you need to go.
Aw, I really like that. Going
Thank you.
forward. Aw, thank you for taking the time to be on Try Together today.
Thank you for having me. And this was really fun. I felt super confident right now. Super, what was the word I'm looking for? Relax. Pretty much. It's fun. I felt really comfortable. There we go. I'm looking, that was the word. I felt really comfortable speaking to you. You are such a great soul, Pratika. And since the first time I met you, I always hold you in my heart somewhere here. And I always appreciate that you always reach out to us, making sure that we're all doing good. If we need to talk, you're always there to talk to us. And I really appreciate that about you. Thank you.
All emotional.
No, don't be.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's okay to. It's okay to cry.
Yeah. It is. That's a good thing.
It's
Wow.
okay.
Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you.
I had a thought, but thoughts come.
Go ahead. I have time.
No, I don't know now.
Oh no!
Listening to what you were saying.
About?
No, it's nice to hear that. It's nice to hear that. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you everyone for watching today.
Thank you for having me. Oh,
bye. Oh.